Hello and welcome back to Cross Cards and Collectibles. Today we are not talking about cards, we are talking about collectibles. Something a little bit different. This, in this case, is my wife's coin collection. So here we go, having a look at it, opening it up. If I drag that forward, you'll see it's not overly full, this case, but funnily enough, it all adds up to a pretty penny at the end of the day. It's a work in progress. We only started this collection probably less than 12 months ago. So hopefully over the coming 12 months, we'll see this collection expand. You're probably thinking, why is this a bunch of plastic cases? Because they have coins in them. So it's very similar to the sports card and Pokemon card market with regard to most people would have a fair few of these coins in what we would call raw state, but not a lot of people go to the effort to actually grade coins. Very similar to sports cards, Pokemon cards, where you can actually send them off to a company and get your coins graded. It's a slightly different grading scale. I'm going to talk about that briefly before we kick off looking at a few of these cards. I'm automatic. Coins. So if I show you very briefly, so here we go. I'll go back over this card in a minute. Coin. Oh, I'm going to do that all the time. So basically you've got what is an uncirculated coin here, and I'll show you how we know that in a minute. You can see how bright it is. Hasn't been cleaned. It is uncirculated versus this very circulated coin. And this is how most people's coins, if they have a few pennies and half pennies, would actually look, no doubt, in their collections. So you can see there's a big difference there. So if we push this back for a second, what I'll do is put up on the screen here somewhere and talk about the grading scale. So it's basically a 0 to 70 grading scale. 70 means absolutely pristine, uncirculated, hardly a blemish. I used to think it meant no blemish, but I read a little description of how they grade the 70, and it can actually have some blemishes on it. I'm having a look, see what's the highest graded one here. Probably a 68, sorry, not 78, 68. So you can see this one here has a number here. So PR means proof coin, which means it was never meant for circulation. So it was always just going to be sold in the Australian Mint as a collector's coin. And it's got a 68 there. I'm not sure what these other numbers mean. Maybe one day when I become a greater expert at this, I'll know. But 68's a fairly high grading coin. I don't think we have a 70, but we'll flick through these coins later and we'll check them all out. You can just see how bright those coins are as uncirculated coins. But there's a whole grading scale. Anything 60 and above is uncirculated. That's all basically we have. Anything under that means it has been circulated. Now you could well get these coins here graded. Very circulated coins. I don't know what sort of grade they would get. It would be very low. I guess it would be like sending a card to a card grading company and getting it come back as a 1 or a 2. There mightn't be a lot of value in that, and it might actually end up losing you money, because it does cost money, pardon the pun, a pretty penny to actually grade these. It's around the same cost as what it would cost to grade a sports card. Funnily enough, if I talk about this company very briefly, PCGS, you can see there, this logo here, they're actually owned by a mob called Collectors Universe, who owns PSA Grading Company, who is the major player in the sports card game. So these guys basically are a different company, but owned by the same conglomerate, creating a little bit of a monopoly effect. There are some other graders as well. You don't see them come up too often. It's probably nearly a lot like PSA these days. Nearly 90% of the cards graded every month these days are PSA. So they have created a bit of a lot more of a monopoly than I thought. Given a little bit of a deep dive into who owns this actual company, brought up collectors again. So they're all over the place. Funnily enough, I was doing that deep dive and I was talking in my last video about the database I use for sports cards to find out their values, called Card Ladder. That's actually owned by collectors as well. So me trying to avoid the monopoly is impossible. Yes, I could probably get another database if I wanted to. Potentially after the last video, I'm starting to think about maybe grading some stuff with PSA, very select bunch. I might go through a Queensland company, SJ2K, who's a local seller up there, a local Aussie seller, I should say. Very fair prices, love SJ2K. I've noticed they're actually doing PSA submissions, so I might start sending some stuff through them in the card market because it looks like I can't avoid them. We've got this many coins now, all with that sort of company, so it's just going to be unavoidable. Plus, these cases, unlike the PSA card cases, are epic. These are really good quality. So if you've got good coins, it's well worth getting them graded. So basically, we particularly have a standard. My wife, a lot like Arlo, likes mint condition coins. So we're looking for everything at the moment that's pretty well uncirculated. So as much as we do love these coins as well, if you get a big lot of these pennies, they are your hands are going to be particularly grubby after it if you're playing around with them, trying to sort through them, and they are a bit stinky. They do smell really bad. So there is a big upside to having these sorts of graded coins. But at the same time, you might be in the market. We haven't attempted to have anything graded yet. We've just bought these graded to take a little bit of the risk out of it. But it might be a scenario, for example, here's all those Aussies out there born before these coins were taken off the market can probably remember the old 1 cent possum coin. So this one here, someone's gone to the trouble. This is, I guess, what people would typically see maybe at their local markets and stuff with their coin collectors. They'd have these cardboard plastic coaters so no one can kind of touch that and ruin it. This coin looks quite good. It would potentially be interesting to see if the grading company did think it was uncirculated. So this could be the type of coin maybe that you would send off. The problem with this type of coin is it's not worth much. I might try and put some prices up there. I don't know them off the top of my head because I'd have to look it up. But I might try and just put as a little experiment as to how much this card would get graded. I'll pop it over here and how much it would be worth if you did get it graded. And I think you'd be sadly mistaken to think that you would actually make some money out of that, because I don't think you would. But it does look very uncirculated. A lot of the stuff you would say buy at your local market and eBay, they'll usually write up in there what that seller thinks it actually is. Now that's just a guess on their behalf. Be very, very careful with that, because that's a lot like me thinking when I send a Michael Jordan card off that it's going to be a 10. It's just my thought. It doesn't not mean that it's going to be that way when you finally turn that. Oh, actually, I've got a 1 cent coin here. You turn that to that. Now, do they look similar? They kind of do. This one's a proof coin, is it? So this one, no, this one's not a proof. You can see that one says PCGS-MS. That means mint. So it basically has been for circulation. But it's just never seen the light of day. Someone's probably pulled this out of a roll. I remember the old coin rolls that they used to break open at the cashier. It's probably been pulled straight out of that, so it's never actually been circulated. This one here got a grade of 66, so it's obviously got a few little marks and stuff on it. It's quite annoying how they do this. Like, that's the back of the label versus that's the front of the label, but that's the back of the coin with Queen Elizabeth there. So this one's a 1966. So the reason we have this one is because it's the first of our decimal coins in this country. Before that, there's no 65s. We had a year off minting anything in this country, and before that we had pre-decimal coins. So this one here. Last of the pre-decimals, 1964, this one, and the first of the decimals. And I find it so frustrating. That's the front of the coin. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the front of the coin. It's just annoying, though. I feel like it should be around the other way. Tell me if I'm wrong. No doubt the numismatic specialists out there say, yes, you're an idiot. You are wrong. But I think it would be more appealing to have it that way around. Just my little bugbear. There's always something. So that's a little bit about that. I'll put some stats up there. Hopefully I've put the stats up there for you. But we'll have a little look at these. These are I basically went to a bit of effort to put together the first decimal set of coins. So we've got the 1 cent coin there, and we can check out the standard. I may well try and upgrade these at some point and maybe get closer to a 70, but 66. I'm pretty sure these were the first ones I went to a bit of effort to buy. So we've got a 66 again on the 2 cent coin. There's a bit of a mark on that case, which is annoying me. Maybe it'll brush off. So we had the frilled neck lizard on that one. Quite a spectacular looking coin. My wife, I say this is my wife's collection because she's really into this stuff, and she had a couple of $2 coins that we'll have a look at later that she really likes. She really likes the $2 coins, the coloured ones. They're quite popular. So we've got our 5 cent piece, 1966. So this one's a 69. There you go. I knew I had something closer to a 70. This is a proof coin. So proof coins mean they were never meant for circulation. They're always just destined for some collection somewhere. They are crazy vibrant. So if you look at that proof coin there popping off there compared to this one that's been for circulation, it hasn't been circulated, but it's for circulation. They're just so much brighter, the proof coins. I guess it's a matter of whether you think that's a mixed bunch now because there's a minted coin there versus a proof coin. The rest of these are all proof coins. So we've got a 10 cent piece there with a lyrebird on the front, and this is, again, a 69. So I've gone quite high there with the quality of those. Can only really upgrade to a 70. 20 cent piece, we've got a 67 here on the 20 cents. This is the platypus coin. And then I've got 2 of these, and this is a 68. So obviously I would basically look at keeping the 68 and maybe selling the 67 off. I bought these kind of, most of them together. So it's a bit of a full kind of set, and I got a good deal on it. So here's a unique one. This is the 1966 50 cent piece, and you'll notice it doesn't have the straight edges. It's round. It's got a lot of silver in it. They are kind of worth a fair bit of money, particularly because this one's a 64, which means it's uncirculated again. Love this particular coin, have owned many of them in the past, but unfortunately sold them all off. It's only been recently we've gotten into these kind of graded coins. We've had big collections of ungraded coins, and I've had a fair few of these. They're kind of nearly, I guess, like a Michael Jordan card. They sell for what they're worth. They never sell really below. They don't tend to go above too much unless people are super keen. I can probably see there why this one got a 64. It's got a kind of a bit of a discolour there. But yeah, the round 50 cent piece, quite iconic Australia. I don't have a 50 cent piece here at all to show you what it would normally look like. We might jump over, might leave these coins for a little bit. We'll jump over to the last of the pre-decimals. Well, not so much all of them, the last. This is a bit random, this lot. I've had this penny, an uncirculated penny. Who thought that was possible? It's crazy colours. Love this coin. It is a 64, so it's pretty good. Got another 64 here. 64 penny, graded a 64. This one's also a 64. That's odd. It's rare for me to buy the same kind of graded coin. I must have got them cheap. When I say cheap, I think you can buy these for about $50, which is way more than what you'd pay for a penny, given a penny is usually worth about $1, if not less. We've got a threepence here. if you want a close-up of that threepence, 1961 threepence. This would also be uncirculated because I don't think I've bought anything circulated. Must be an older label. You can see these labels are a bit different. I've only just noticed that. So this might be an old grade. Sometimes the companies update their banners. I do much prefer this new banner. It's at least a little bit fancy. Typical PSA with boring logo banners though. Like, sharpen it up a bit. That literally looks like a piece of paper. That looks like a fancier bit of paper, but it doesn't look like you put a lot of effort into it. The amount you guys charge, you should make your product look better. Case I like. The label I think sucks. Anyway, it's a cool coin. Tell me I'm wrong. This would be my favourite pre-decimal sign besides the crowns. I'll redo this video once I've got some crowns. This is the shilling with the ram on the front. This one's a 1943. Very nice looking coin. We've got King George, father of Queen Elizabeth. What's the grading on this one? A 63. Still pretty good, like a 1943 coin that is uncirculated. It is crazy to own something like that. All right, moving on to, we might save those for last and we'll go through this $2 coin collection. These are some of my wife's favorite. I've gone straight to a big dog straight up the front. We've got one of the Poppy commemorative coins, 2022. These Poppy coins are extremely popular and not cheap. So this one here, I do believe it'd be between the $100 to $200 mark. Don't quote me on that. I might try and whack a price in there for you. That's a 67, so it's pretty high up there as a grade. Another one that is extremely expensive, and when I say extremely expensive, that is all in the eye of the beholder. That's extremely expensive for us. Again, this is probably a $100 to a $200 coin, and it's a 64 grade this time. So they're all uncirculated. This is a commemorative coronation of the Queen coin from 2013, whatever the coronation is. I don't know. I'm showing my lack of intelligence and care for things to do with the monarchy, but it's a nice shade of purple in there. Quite like that coin. It is expensive. I had a heap of these once just raw, and they were selling like raw for $20 each, which is crazy given it's a $2 coin any day of the week. All right, we've got an Indigenous coin here, 2021. This is a 67 grade. Lovely colours there on the black and red on that coin. It's really nice looking coin, that. I'll put the price up. I think it's expensive. I'll put the price up. It's either mid-range or it's not cheap, I know that. Really nice coin though. All right, so now we're into some of the cheaper stuff. So we've got a Lest We Forget, the red ring coin there, 66. Lots of, I don't know, I was about to say lots of military type stuff. Then we jumped to a honeybee coin. Purely bought this one because it looks cool. Again, tell me I'm wrong. That just looks cool. It's 66. I don't think it's expensive. I just literally bought it because it was cool and it was probably on eBay one day. This one's a war animal remembrance. Again, it probably jumped out at me because of that colour. It's just a really nice colour. Zoom in, you can see some of the detail. There's like a horse there and a dog there if I stay still for long enough. The detail in the coin's really nice. That one's a 69 also, so pretty high grade. You don't get much better than that. From 2024. Again, I'll put the prices of these things up so you can kind of have a bit of a look. And here we go. We've got 3 of these coins. This is a yellow Matilda's coin. These are not expensive. This is a graded 63. We've then got the dark green. Like even the dark green on it. They might have needed to fill their toner cartridge up on that one when they printed that one. But that's a 63 also, all uncirculated. And then we've got the light green for some reason. Yellow, light green, dark green. Must be something to do with the Matilda's colours. There you go. Again, a 63. So the $2 coin collection will continue to increase, no doubt. Some of the more random ones here next, I'm not sure which one to start with. Might start with this one. Lots of people in their 40s through to 70s and 80s would remember this coin. The young people would not, but this is a bicentenary coin. It's 1988, as you can see down there, and it is bright. Like, look at that. I think this camera, given it's a new phone, is going to do justice to that. I guess what coin people would call luster. It looks great. So it's a 69, so it'd want to look good at a 69. It's a $5 coin. They're kind of rare. Funnily enough, coins that didn't even exist, I started to find in the $5 bracket after that. Check out this bad boy. We've got a Remembrance Day, a 2011 Poppy Remembrance Day, curvature on the coin. Never seen it before until I bought this. $5 coin, different back on it, 11, 11, 11. Because I guess it's the 311s, that's why they brought it out as quite a fancy one. It's a 67 grade, so it's a pretty high grade. And then the final coin is probably the cheapest one of the lot. I purely bought, this was a Christmas present for my wife, a $1 coin, Merry Christmas colorized. She loves Christmas. It was a Christmas present. It's graded pretty high to 69. It probably, given everyone at the moment loves Christmas, it might change. They should have brought a Grinch coin out this year, given Christmas was all about the Grinch this year. But yeah, that's the beginning, a good start to a coin collection. We'll do some more posts on how as that builds. If we get anything new, maybe we'll send off some stuff for grading. So short, sharp one today. Thank you very much and goodbye.